Horror. A genre that has existed in media almost as long as the different mediums have existed. Stories and fables speak of demons and devils, providing the backbone of myth and legend. Horror films have existed as long as film has itself, leaving audiences both scared and disgusted, some even treating horror films as a lesser art form. Video games are also no stranger to the horror genre. For years, I was in the camp that horror games were not good, despite the fact that I was a big slasher fan. Keep in mind, I was watching based on what my friends liked. Horror games were janky, badly controlled, and looked crude to me. It wasn't until I was introduced to the horror genre by a friend with Soma, and then later discovering Resident Evil 7 for myself, that I started to understand why these games are so loved. A couple years before I fell in love with the genre, in 2014, PT was released. Standing for Playable Trailer, it was a precursor to a game that never was, Kojima's Silent Hills. PT was notable for inspiring a whole new wave of horror games. Resident Evil 7, while compared to PT, was already well into development, as was another game which was taking the gaming world by storm in the indie space, Neverending Nightmares. Matt Gilgenbach is an indie developer who started making a name for himself when his first game, Retrograde, a rhythm-based space shooter that is timed to the music, was released on Steam and PS3 in 2012. According to a Polygon interview, the game failed even though it was on both Valve's and Sony's platforms. The failure of the game alongside his own depression and anxiety led to his next game, Neverending Nightmares. Neverending Nightmares is a side-scrolling horror game where you explore your home and other areas in a state where it's not clear if what you are experiencing is a dream or reality. You play from the perspective of a man named Thomas, a depressed, OCD-laden person with asthma who's trying to get through his own nightmares, or at least what feels like nightmares. While the game plays in a somewhat linear fashion, there are multiple endings based on how the game pans out. The game was funded via Kickstarter in 2013 and became quite the success compared to the developer's previous game. With the success of this game, Matt Gilgenbach looked on with his next project, and in 2015, the Kickstarter for Devastated Dreams was launched. Devastated Dreams was announced in the summer of 2015. The game is from the perspective of a pregnant woman named Angel who lives in the Philippines, doing her best to protect her unborn child from the Aswang, a demonic creature that feasts on fetuses using their long tongues to snatch them from expecting mothers. That alone is enough of a disturbing concept, but mixed with the creepy, electricless atmosphere of a small village at night, and the aspect of Angel dreaming for two, makes this even more terrifying than Neverending Nightmares. When I first heard about this concept, I was very interested. Despite being a backer of the Kickstarter for Neverending Nightmares, I'd only played the demo at the time. The game remained on my Steam shelf until October 2024, just after the 10th anniversary of the game's release. Finally cutting my teeth on the game made me partially regret sitting on it for so long. It was such a well-done creepy game that it just made me all the more sad that we never got Devastated Dreams. So yeah, this is the downer part of the video. See, in order to secure the funding for Devastated Dreams, Matt once again attempted a Kickstarter campaign. Unfortunately, the landscape of Kickstarter games was very different in 2015. Shortly before the campaign for Devastated Dreams was to go live, the second Kickstarter for Keiji Inafune and Concepts Mighty No. 9 was launched to help with developing DLC for the game. Not only that, but another game and anime series for another concept property, Red Ash, was announced on January 3rd, 2015. These projects, among several other very suspicious and underdelivered campaigns, led to a lot of fans seeing Kickstarter as less than a viable platform. Now, that's not to say I blame the failure of Devastated Dreams Kickstarter solely on concept, but more so that the timing and general energy around the platform definitely didn't help its case. Matt took the failure of the Kickstarter as a sign that maybe the game was not meant to be. He instead shifted his focus to his family, as he was going to be a dad within months of announcing the project. And with that, he left the industry. There's more to the story, however. As of writing this script, Matt released an update on the Neverending Nightmares Kickstarter page. It goes over what has happened in the 10 years since the game launched, and how he has shifted his career to being an engineer and to focus on his family, as he is now a father of 2 sons. He goes over his time working on both Neverending Nightmares and Devastated Dreams, and how he wanted to take what he had learned from the former to make the latter a much better game. He also admits that the production was rushed, and he was trying to get as much moving as possible to have the Kickstarter go live as soon as they were able. Probably so that the funding could be secured to help keep the production team together and to complete the project before the birth of his firstborn. In his post, he is quoted as saying this: "I know some people might be sad that Devastating Dreams never came out, but looking back on it, I doubt it would have turned out as good as Neverending Nightmares. I felt a lot of pressure to get the game off the ground and to keep the team together, so it was a rush to make decisions and get stuff ready. A lot of the ideas were sort of knee-jerk reaction to Neverending Nightmares feedback, making it less linear, making it more interactive with the flashlight mechanic. I'm not saying these were bad ideas, but I definitely didn't have as clear of a vision for what we were building. I didn't have an ending I was happy with in mind. The ideas came a lot easier for Neverending Nightmares, mostly because I took all the good ideas I had accumulated over the years of taking notes and put them all into one. While there were some interesting things we set out to do in Devastating Dreams, the well did feel a little dry. Perhaps I'm being too hard on myself and the game would have come together in the end, but it definitely felt a lot harder. He then goes on to explain that he is taking game development up as more of a hobby, messing around with a more limited space with the Game Boy, and has even developed a small game for the platform named Swirl, based on a Dreamcast game of a similar name. He even links to a free download of the game that is said to work on both emulator and real Game Boy hardware. I'll include a link in the description to the post if you'd like to see for yourself. While it may not be what we expected, it's good to know Matt still has a passion for creating games. I'm sad we'll never get to see what Devastated Dreams would become, but I think it may no longer be necessary. In the almost 10 years since the game was announced, we've had horror games from the perspective of a pregnant woman with Amnesia Rebirth as a prime example. Not to mention several different horror games based on different locales all over the world. In the end, I feel that creativity and passion for game development in the indie space has grown to allow for even more outlandish ideas to have a chance in the industry. Call to the Lamb and The Coffin of Andy and Lele come to mind as games that would have not made as big of a splash 10 years ago as they did now. With the AAA industry turning out a lot of the same things and starting to make less and less money on what should have been surefire hits, the industry is changing. I'm both excited and fearful for what the industry holds, but I will happily watch for what is to come next, and also to get back in development myself, for the first time since 2008. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. This was actually supposed to be a Halloween video, but some stuff happened in my personal life, including some family stuff, that I had to kind of push this back and just make this a "it's done when it's done" video. Shoutouts to Nyan Melon for making this black and white model, put in KZ's words, "somebody Betty booped me." So this is what I was using for my Halloween model on my streams. Shout out to twitch.tv/Zeromaster. Go check out my streams. I stream like 3-4 times a week on there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, and sometimes Sundays, so whatever. I just wanted to take a second here at the end, not only to thank you guys for watching the video, but I've started using the Hunting Club chat in my Discord server, which is something I created for supporters either on Twitch or Patreon to get early access to stuff when I make these videos. I did post some stuff working on this video in there. If you have supported me on Twitch or Patreon, you can get access to the Hunting Club and check that out. And that doesn't just mean like Twitch subs or Patreon backing. If you've supported me by like purchasing something on Throne, or you've donated bits or donated directly through Stream Elements 2, you do qualify for the role. So if you don't have the role and you're in my Discord server, just send me a message letting me know, hey, I supported you in the past and I would like to have access to this. It also gives access to the Toku Tuesday voice chat in my server. After my Tuesday stream, we watch Tokusatsu. Right now we're watching through Kamen Rider ZO. If that's something you'd be interested in, if you don't know what the hell Tokusatsu is, Japanese superheroes and Japanese large monster kaiju things. But anyways, this little unfiltered thing, I just wanted to say thank you for being patient with me with my videos. I have more projects planned. I have so many projects in the back burner, but I wanted to get this one out because this is an idea I had for a few years. I have so many ideas as well that I want to get out there. So if you are watching this on my YouTube channel, Zeromaster Reviews, please subscribe for more content. And again, if you want to support this content and my other content, Twitch, Patreon, Throne, or Stream Elements, any of those work, whatever you prefer. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!